The different levels of understanding lean. Today's 5 minute short. I'm Joshua Barnes and I'm joined by Al Shalloway. And we hear a lot of people, see people posting, here on LinkedIn and that they're adopting lean, but oftentimes it comes across as being very different. So Al, what do you think about that?
Well, I think lean to some level has finally kind of hit the bandwagon a little bit. I was the one who first suggested, as far as I know, that Scrum could be thought of as a partial implementation of lean, and that doing so would actually help you understand things. And at the time in 2007, that was violently opposed by both Jeff and Ken. I got thrown off the development group, actually, the Scrum development group, for saying that. And you now see in the latest Scrum guide, it says Scrum is based on empiricism and lean thinking. And I would suggest, no, it isn't. That's just plain old marketing hype. And Scrum is still based on empirical process control, even more than empiricism. But anyway, I see a lot of people talking about lean and saying what lean is. And I'll say that what I see is 3 different levels. And it's worth knowing these levels because, well, they're all useful to some extent, but some people misrepresent lean, and then you think, well, I'm really not interested in it. So the first level is when you hear anybody talking about lean as a manufacturing process, I just suggest you ignore everything they say. Yes, it is a manufacturing process, but that's lean manufacturing. Unless you're manufacturing, if you're building something, go right ahead. I mean, lean manufacturing is amazing. I have a cousin-in-law, so to speak, who runs a textile mill, does lean, and we have great conversations, and lean works great there. But we don't work quite the same way because, hey, I'm in software, I'm in virtual work, knowledge work, and lean works different. And you're not trying to build the same thing over and over again. So when people talk about like one piece flow, which may be in manufacturing or other things that relate to manufacturing, be polite, smile, and don't listen to them, basically. There's another way that's more popular that's done that's not bad, but it's not as effective as it could be. And that's to take lean manufacturing things, like eliminate waste, for example, and apply them to the software or virtual world. And that's not bad because there's a lot of useful stuff you can take directly. But waste is different in the two worlds. In the manufacturing world, you can see it. Bumpers bad, you see the bumpers. Car doors missing, you see that. In the software world or the virtual world, I mean, anything knowledge work, you don't see that. So when you take it, eliminate waste, the question is, well, how does that show up in the virtual world? It's not easy. So mantras like eliminate waste, wait to the last responsible moment, that may have worked well in a physical manufacturing environment, does not work well in a virtual software or knowledge work. Instead, what you really need to do is go down to the underlying fundamental principles that drive lean. These are things like focus on learning, do work in small batches, systems thinking, just in time. There are a variety of them. And you have to kind of study it and know this is what you're doing, because I still don't think anybody's written about this. The closest would be Don Reinertson's book, but it's Principles of Product Development Flow, second generation lean product development. Might tell you something that maybe flow is even more important than lean. I think the two go together, but it's an indication of things. So the third level is to look underneath. So like in manufacturing, yeah, you want to use small batches. So how does that show up in product development? You want to eliminate waste, but how does that show up in product development? I would suggest that you want to look to see what the cause of waste is. See, the problem with saying eliminate waste, people say, oh, anything that doesn't add value to the customer. Well, in manufacturing, that's true. But is planning or thinking or discussing or learning adding value to the customer? Maybe not directly, but it's a good thing to do. What you don't want are delays in workflow that kind of hide or delay feedback. So you create additional work like fixing bugs or working on things you shouldn't be working on. That they're really 2 different kinds of waste to me. One is that it's work we didn't need to do in the first place, like over doing analysis and getting a lot of stuff on our queues and things like that. See, you could actually see that you would actually not be sure that isn't waste because, well, I got to do it eventually, but you're doing it too soon. You're creating waste by creating big queues and things like that. So small batches are important. And then the second kind of waste is like waste we created by misunderstanding. So in lean, there's a different opportunity. We want to use quick feedback. We want to recognize that delays in our workflow and slow feedback will literally create additional work for us. See, that doesn't quite happen the same way in the manufacturing world, although my cousin-in-law tells me it does, but it's still a little different. He says it's just as big a problem. It's just a different way. So in software and virtual work and knowledge work, you have to attend directly to what's going on. And that would be look at your workflows, eliminate delays, get quick feedback. And if you just throw the mantra out, eliminate waste or optimize the whole or defer commitment, it doesn't give you any action. And it makes it sound a bit abstract. And that's what actually really irritates me about people who are now talking about lean who just kind of got into it and are doing it as marketing, because it's making lean seem much less useful, because people who really don't know what they're talking about are talking about it in a less useful manner. So anyway, just advice. There are a lot of people who know about lean, and you need to look at their, I guess, how long they've been there, what they've written about it, and not that they just come at it the last couple of years after decades of saying, no, it's not what we do. So anyway, I hope that's useful.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for this 5 minute short, whether you're watching it live or on replay. If you have any questions, please post on LinkedIn, and we'll see you on our next one.